I am going to get us started. So we will call this meeting to order. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Supervisor Gail Schinch-Eisenberg.
Here.
Thank you, Carlos. I'm gonna do the roll call here. So trustee Kate Cassell McNally.
Here.
Trustee Stephen Mosier.
Here.
Trustee Elliot Robbins.
Here.
Trustee Danielle Rubin.
Here.
Is our assessor Jan Churchwell with us?
Yes, she is.
All right, Jan. And I know our administrator is there.
Yeah.
Larisha Hopkins. And we have James Howard.
Wonderful.
And
Here.
I've been introduced to one visitor tonight, Jesse Moon of the Oakton Foundation, Educational Foundation. Is our visitor from the League of Women Voters? Is she online tonight?
Not seeing our
Not
normal.
yet. Okay.
1 second.
So, Madam Supervisor, we do have a quorum for business.
Great, thank you.
It's the January.
We will now stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. We've had some exciting couple weeks in the township. I won't belabor everything that's in the staff reports. But just to note, I very much appreciate everyone's support with the town meeting. I know it was, unusual to not have your supervisor there. I heard that the video works, which was wonderful. The township officials lobby day went well as well. We were able to stop a bill that would have asked, so we have our decennial report. The decennial report goes to the county. There was a bill that had gotten out of committee and was about to be voted on the floor. That did not make it through the House. That would have required each county to then take those reports and make recommendations to cut 1/3 of all governments. Not should they cut 1/3 of all governments, what governments should be cut 1/3 of all governments.
That made it out of committee?
It did.
Yeah.
So thankfully it was stopped. Township officials put out bat signals. We've talked to everybody we knew. So yes, because as we know, it's not, governments by themselves that are necessarily inefficient or, unhelpful, but it's, bad governments that are inefficient and unhelpful. And we are thankful that we keep ourselves on the good side of the ledger and continue to make ourselves more effective and efficient. So it was good to see some fellow township officials down in Springfield. In addition, we've had some great events in the town hall, including we had our senior in high school power of attorney clinic. We had our DMV event. Today was a program on estate planning for those with a child with developmental disabilities. So we were truly trying to get out into the community. Our shred event was extremely well attended as always. So thanks to Kate and her crew for helping out with that as well. But we know that people like when we come to them and when we provide those services that they're asking for. So we go beyond just the basics and help provide for all of the needs of our township residents. I did have a chance also to participate in the community outreach board for now Ascension Health over at Northwestern. They gave us some background on their community efforts. So we'll continue to work with them, especially on our wellness initiatives. We are unsure that our wellness fair will be continuing as an annual event, but maybe going to every other year. So it might be a year to kind of consider what else we should be doing wellness wise. Maybe more just a vaccine clinic, keep it simple. Because we had been combining the vaccine clinic with kind of like a fair type situation. But maybe we don't have to do that every year, but we were seeing lagging participation as we went, especially on days that were pretty. So any questions on supervisor's report? All right, as I think of things, I'm sure I'll chime in. We have meeting minutes from January 9th. Let's start with January.
Hallelujah. I did want to say the late start is not on the supervisor. That's on me because our administrator helping me out for the millionth time was making the copies. These minutes, just to start off, and if you're still reading through, oh my God, I went through over and over and over again to make sure that every motion was correct, especially the financial in the February. It went over and over and over. And then even before I sent them to Larisha, I had to do them over again. Maybe it's obsession. And then even that, I went over again. I realized in the drafts that I'd sent to Larisha, I made a mistake. I promoted our new attorney to being part of the law firm as a partner. And I added his name. I'm sorry. So I will strike that when we post it. When Larisha or Melanie posted on, I'll strike his name because Ross, he's not his name isn't part of the firm name, but I mistakenly put that in one of the minutes. Another time, trustee Cassell McNally, I didn't put via Zoom and you were Zoom, and I'm sorry if I made an error one of the months that you were Zoom.
Well, let's start with January 9th. Are there any
I will
changes?
fix,
I'll take a look.
did I already? Oh, geez. And
So, for January 9th, Jerome,
yes,
under the clerk's
please.
report,
yes,
the second paragraph, and then also under public comments,
yes.
could you just add an A to my last name?
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh,
It's not a problem.
Kate, I try to be diligent. I'm sorry. It just.
That's fine. Just do it.
I will, I promise I'll fix that before, and that's just one more thing that we can edit to make sure that when they go on, they're gonna be on for good.
Absolutely. Okay, any other changes to January 9th? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the minutes of January 9th, 2024?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, trustee Moser seconds. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, January 9th passed. February 13th, 2024, is there any discussion?
I thought, let me find that again. On the fifth page, on the money to bear necessities, I thought the vote was 3-2.
Let me switch it on. I was a no.
That's not cable.
I was a no as well.
Oh, Kate, okay, well then I'll correct that too.
Thank you. Good catch.
Well, it's still passed, but thank you for the correction. Wow. That was very challenging, Stefan, so thank you for correcting that. I go,
I see one tiny typo as
oh,
well.
tell me, please. I want to get
It's-
them right.
It's on page 6, first paragraph, the discussion of staff salaries. Brian Leverance, who is now compensated, not in now compensated.
Oh.
Yep, that's
appreciate it.
all.
Thank you.
Autocorrect and spell check can be the devil if there is a real word involved.
And then just on page 2, under financial report, where it says trustee Robbins moved. So you can remove one of them.
Really
moved. Yeah.
And further on
Good,
that line,
Danielle.
and trustee Cassell McNally, let's add that A again.
We'll just have that as a standing edit. You can make word learn it. Just add to dictionary.
I need to learn that.
Mhm.
I'm just so relieved to get these done.
We very much appreciate it, and we're glad that you're healthy. Any other changes to February 13th minutes? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve as amended?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, February 13th, it's approved. We are now on March 12th. Any edits?
Yes, on page 3 of 4, new business, last paragraph. Trustee McNally moved, trustee Rubin seconded.
Oh dear.
A one-time motion to increase treasurer for this year by $500, not per recipient, it'll be by $500
Period.
to allow for 1,000
Oh,
per recipient with 2 recipients this year. So we only increased it by 500 and that allows for 1,000 per recipient.
You got that, Jerome?
I got it. I will fix everything. I just,
Thank you.
oh, and also strike that, Ross who's put his name
Right.
on the firm. Why? He might like seeing that, but not yet.
And on page 2, my first, the assessor's report, first paragraph, my name. It's all, it's another name.
Yeah.
It's a different word. That's okay.
What did I call you, Jane?
Church.
And on
Well,
page 3, there are 4 instances of my name.
Yep.
Oh,
So just do a control F. Make sure to do a,
Make
now
the
I
match.
learned that.
fabulous. And, any other changes? Is there a motion to approve as amended?
So moved.
A second? Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, it is unanimous. Okay, we are up to date. Wonderful. Okay, clerk's report.
So I am very relieved, just to say to have those minutes submitted and approved, and then they'll be posted as fixed. And that's one of the purposes of saying draft always. You probably wonder, why do I say draft? It's that until you finalize it, I try to present them 100% the best, but your corrections are valued and appreciated, because I like to get it right, and it will be. So I have a clerk's report, very pleased about 2 big events. The April annual town meeting. Wow, great turnout. Fantastic program. I just feel like it flowed very well. Big appreciation to everybody involved. Every staff member contributed to the event. All the elected officials contributed and assisted in the event. We really had a good turnout, good vibes, and the awards were spectacular. Congratulations, Elliot. And it just, and to the others, it was, I hope you feel like I did. It was a very nice memory. And if we pull off annual town meetings like that every year, that's to showcase the generous people who give so much time in our community like that, and to showcase our programs. We actually all had a chance to report, and we had Gail beamed in. That was sweet. And I'm just very pleased for all the help that you provided and for the turnout of the community. As you know, we were preparing this year. We didn't have anything. I mean, we were very prepared, but because we had expected people to come that might not be supportive of township issues, we had to make everything just, hey, there you go. I prepared a script for whoever might be elected moderator, and it turned out in the end, just everything functioned very well, and it was a pleasing evening. And I was delighted to be at the Writers Theater. We hadn't been in Glencoe in years. So my very first town meeting back in 2010 was in Glencoe. So it was a long time coming back, but we made it. The second thing I want to share with you is that I had the pleasure of hosting so one more event, and it was a delight. Even though she was triple booked, Supervisor Eisenberg came and made an appearance. It was really special. We had a whole bunch of township clerks and some staff members attend, and it was held in the boardroom, which is really a nice place to have a meeting. And we had a good dinner and a program that was really interesting, was from the IMRF. So I feel like not only did we benefit the clerks, but we benefited others and in the townships to learn more about the functioning of IMRF, and what a blessing that is, that we can offer our staff members a valuable pension. And I was just pleased. Larisha did so much to help me on that one too. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, comments?
With regard to the annual town meeting, I thought it was terrific. However,
Okay.
the recording didn't get accomplished. Last year's recording was botched. And so I think we have to make an effort do a more professional job at recording it.
It's a very,
Because I think it's important that it be recorded, not only for purposes of acknowledging it existed, which I know is one reason, but I think members of the community have to have the opportunity to see it.
I appreciate that. Thank you. It's a good point. Let's add that to our checklist for next year as we prepare. I think it would be money well spent to have somebody more professional.
Did it not get recorded or?
Melanie was recording it and we did do a test that day, but it did not save in the Zoom cloud. And I went to Zoom and asked them if they could retrieve it and they said no.
She did it on her iPhone.
Oh, on her iPhone.
Yeah, I
Like,
thought,
oh, he had some equipment there.
no, it was
That, the equipment was to Dean and Gale, but that did not record also.
correct.
So just to let you know, in previous years, we used to hire a videographer and that took care of everything. But, with expenses and other things, we thought, well, we'll just have it as a Zoom recording. And, Melanie did test it. It's just that it's lost now. And it's a big disappointment to me, to everybody, that we don't have it. So Stefan, that's a great point. I almost feel like doing a big call out to anybody that was there, seeing if some people have recordings, such as your presentation, Elliot, maybe one of your family members have your presentation or something that you could share, so we could post at least some memories and things from that town meeting, because it really was a good crowd, and there were some other special things that should have been about the meaning of township government that should be recorded and shared.
Is it a legal requirement? Oh, it's not. Okay.
No,
Good. I thought we were required to show proof that we had it. Now we have.
We'll get minutes.
Good, okay.
Yeah. The only thing that has to be recorded verbatim is if we go to.
You know,
executive
back when
session.
they didn't have any equipment.
Okay, so that is very, feedback well taken. Any additional feedback on the annual town meeting?
I do just want to commend Jerome and Larisha on a job well done. I know it was a very, very big undertaking and it just went so smoothly
well.
and was so well attended, and just appreciate all of your hard work to pull it together.
I second that. The only little blip was also, I didn't know about the recording, but Russ, I guess, recommended at the last minute that we try to pass something.
Yeah.
And that, I think it's good that it didn't, because it was a little awkward. We weren't prepared for it.
Yes, in my head, it was so like, of course, that I didn't think about there being any pushback, so I didn't think about it needing much preparation. Cause it was literally it's just just in case measure, right? If we ever have another fire, we don't wanna have to call a town meeting of electors in order to contain additional property or to get rid of property. That's what it's for.
But if we kind of put it on the agenda for next year.
Right, he's saying we should be doing it every year, and we should have been doing it every year. So,
Would something would have to be done annually?
yes, or we can call emergency meetings, so, I mean, that's still an
okay.
option.
Right.
If, we had an issue, we would have to simply notice a meeting of all the electors.
Part of the confusion came from the fact that one of the members of the audience said that they had heard a rumor that we were selling the township building.
Oh.
And I think that was
That would
the
complicate
kind of
things.
thing everybody heard.
I'm sure
Wait a
someone saw on the agenda, the motion, and thought that, or confused my post about my synagogue being sold. So, which just got approved by the park district. It came from there just now. Okay. All right, wonderful, thank you. We're now in line for our financial report. I will make James the host.
All right. Excellent. All right, good evening, everybody. I'm going to share my screen and then we can walk through the 2 months ended April 30th. Again, still in the infancy of our fiscal year, but let's take a look at revenues. Again, property taxes pretty much unchanged from last month. We did receive 52% or 1.8 million from the county. So again, off to a good start. They're going to be more timely from what I'm hearing this year, and maybe Jan has some more insight into that than last year. Obviously, we had some delays, but right now, so far, so good. Replacement taxes in at about 14%, so that's 13,000 collected there. We get that about 8 times a year from the state. Interest continues to outperform. We're at about 21,000 collected, or 42% of the budget, and then passport fees at 19%, about 5,800 collected there. So 1.9 million Across all revenues, we budgeted 3.7, so we're at 51% 2 months in. And then as we scroll down our expenditures, again, some of these are a little elevated just based on the timing of the expenditures, but all in, we're looking very good. Obviously, we've got contractual services at about 58,000 spent or 29%, and some billing and town hall expenses to start the year at about 50,000 or 40%. But everything else hovering kind of where we are in the fiscal year, and again, all in 318,000 spent for both town and GA funds. That's only 8% of the budget 2 months in. Respectively, town funds at 6% spent and GA at 13%. So we're going to be in a nice surplus position to start the year. We typically are, as we have half of that tax money already in, 1.5 million, and we've started with about 1.8 million. So we're at about 3.4 million in ending fund balance. Again, our ratio targets based on the budget that's on the agenda for tonight. We're trying to get north of 30% or 4 months of expenditures in reserve. And again, that's going to be getting very close to that best practice. So again, hopefully this year we can achieve that target.
And just quick note, the building expenses being at 40%, is that because of both the panels, the last tranche of panels and installment, and then also our deferred heating?
For the heating,
Yeah.
the heating units.
So both of those we moved on to this year, and the solar just finished, so that makes perfect sense. Thank you.
And I had a question.
Yep, distribution.
Oh, yeah, there's one
Go
more
ahead.
question.
Are those percentages at the bottom? Those seem to confuse me. You're 1,064%.
Yeah.
Greater than.
Right. So that's what we're right. That's what we were discussing in terms of targets. We're trying to get 30% or better at the end of the year. We're going to look obviously very good right now in terms of those percentages as we've got half the tax money in and only 2 months of expenditure. So don't look at those right now. I would wait until we get into January and then February, the end of the fiscal, and then we can really dial into what those percentages are going to be. But it's a fund balance to expenditure ratio. So obviously right now fund balances are extremely in good shape considering we got that first installment of tax money.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Well, in terms of distribution, taxes lead the way, 98%, replacement tax 0.7, interest 1, passport fees 0.3, other income 0.2. And then on the distribution on the expenditures, financial assistance at 28%, the pantry about 8, personnel 23, elected officials 2, projects 0.6, contractual services about 18%, office supplies 0.3, assessor about 4, building town hall expenses 16%. So right now, obviously, you're going to see these revenues at about the halfway point, as half of that tax money is already in for us. And hopefully we'll see the next installment around September would be nice, September, October this year. If you remember, we were way late the year before. And then as we look at this detail, again, not a whole lot going on yet in terms of our agency programs. And then outside of that, everything else looking pretty good in terms of the overall picture. It's just really timing of some of the expenditures that's going to elevate those, insurance being one of those, anything else that kind of went out the door early in the fiscal year. We come back into the cash report again, about 3.4 million across all accounts. We probably should look to get Tom and John on the horn in terms of our Schwab accounts to maybe move some more money to them. So that's something we'll probably want to look into. As you can see, BMO's got about 1.7 million right now in that savings account, and GA has got about 605,000. So probably a good opportunity to look at some more short-term investments. As you know, the Fed held on rates. CPI is still running pretty hot. So they were expecting, 3 or 4 rate cuts to start the year. Right now, they're maybe going to do 1 or 2, and that'll be at the latter half. So I think we can still get really good bang for the buck, given our current portfolio, and reinvesting now makes a lot of sense. As hopefully the county's on time and we'll see more money come in, September-ish. Outside of that, though, that concludes my report. I'd be happy to take any questions from the board.
Any questions? Seeing none. We're in line for verification of claims. Trustee Moser.
I have it. Hold on.
James, if you want to give me power back once you are,
Oh, yep.
I make a motion to approve the town fund expenditures for the period of March 1st, 2024, April 30th, 2024, as presented to the board of this state, May 14th, 2024.
is there a second?
Second,
All right, so it requires, Mr. Clerk to call the roll.
Supervisor Hardenberg,
Yes.
trustee Cassell McNally,
yes.
trustee Rubin,
Yes,
trustee Mosier,
Yes.
trustee Robbins.
Yes,
All right, thank you. We have verified the claims. We have a printout for you to sign.
Yes,
Oh,
Stephanie has it.
perfect. All right. All right, well, we're passing that around. Assessor Churchwell.
Yes, first of all, we're open for appeals now. And we close on Thursday, so we are almost done being open for appeals for now. And to comment on James' point about the tax bill situation. This, after the last 2 years, nobody was willing to go all in and say, yep, we're back on schedule. But all of the indicators are good. That the tax bills will actually be going out, be ready online late June and be in the mail by the end of June as is the plan. Was the plan pre-pandemic anyway, and computer glitches of massive proportions. And as I said, nobody's willing to go to the mattress on that one, but that's the latest word, and that was from our meeting 10 days ago on May 3rd, that it's at least it's looking good. And my guess would be that even if there is some kind of last minute delay or hitch, it would probably only be in the neighborhood of like a 30 month good, 130-day delay. So, but for now, it's looking like it's going to be on time. And another thing that came out of the meeting that I hope will be all right with everybody, because if it isn't, you can just leave it out. A lot of the township assessors are including statements for their decennial reports about the work that the assessor's office does, in as much as that really contributes to people's bottom line a lot. So I intend
Absolutely.
to present one of those too. Okay, good. And then the last thing is in March, we had discussed the IGA, and I had sent with Northfield Township, and I had sent an email to everybody after that saying that as I looked at it more closely, because I didn't have my copy with me, the IGA itself actually is between the two townships. That is the township boards authorizing in effect their assessors to carry out this loaned employee arrangement as needed, which does away with all of any issues about, getting any special insurance. As the township insurance that's involved already and everything else. Also, all it needs really is the approval of the township boards to let the assessors do that. But I didn't hear back from anybody about that.
We were looking into having Ross take a look at it. Cause remember, we didn't think that it should be between the townships. We thought it should
Well-
be between the assessor's offices.
Right, but Karen Fleetler, I believe her last name is, who is a member of the same firm, had the Northfield Township board already approved it.
Okay, so.
So they're in the same firm.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna ask for us, yeah. But we can do that at the next meeting. Can we add that for the next town?
Do you want me to write him in the meantime? Because it seems to me the two of them ought to sit down and figure it out.
Well, he represents
if-
us. so-
Right, and she represents them, and
Yeah.
they went with it, so.
It doesn't matter if they're in the same firm. It
Yeah.
doesn't. It's
Yeah.
the two
No, I
different
thought it would be
entities.
easier. That's.
Understood, yeah. Okay. Any questions for Jan?
I don't have a question for Jan. I'm not sure when to bring this up, but as I'm sitting here processing, I think we made an error to a correction that we made in the minutes.
Oh. it would be a point of personal privilege.
Okay. So,
So that's fun fact. So,
should I read it out now? Okay, so,
Yeah.
and my memory could be incorrect, so maybe this is something for Jerome to go back and look at, but talking about bare necessities. So we said, okay, we're gonna change it to 3 yeses and 2 nos. But what I recall is that bare necessities originally asked for 5,000,
Yeah.
which we didn't agree on, but when we did move it down to 2,500, my recollection was that he did agree to that it was a 4-to-1 vote.
That's my recollection too.
Yeah. There was a disagreement when
Of the
the amount was higher, but once we agreed to the 2,500, my recollection was it is 4 yeses and 1 no.
Let's go ahead and check that out. We can always revise, just needs to be a motion to reconsider.
Also, it was, they originally asked for 10,
10, okay.
not 5, so it's 10, to be down to 25.
Got it.
Mhm.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, seeing there's no comments on Shannon Churchwell's report, we're in line for public comment. Is there any public comment? That would be you, Ms. Boone.
Thank you. I appreciate the tickle. I wasn't sure exactly when to jump in. My name is Jessie Moon. I am here representing the Oakton College Educational Foundation, which has benefited for the past 2 years from your generosity via scholarship aid. Today is a really great day for me to come talk to you because we just celebrated our commencement yesterday. So I wanted to share a few pieces of information that we celebrated, and that success is yours to celebrate as well, because scholarship support touches every single student at Oakton in different ways. So 1 second while I pull up my screen. We conferred 930 degrees and 1,179 certificates. This is an 8% increase over the prior year, which is a huge celebration when enrollment is down at many of our peer institutions. Our youngest graduate was 16 years old and our oldest graduate was 73 years old. Our most persistent graduate began their Oakton journey in the fall of 2009. That's a 15-year journey to earning their associate's degree and just demonstrates the persistence that many of our students have, but also the life factors that many students juggle, caring for family members, working full-time, etc. And the average GPA for our graduating class was 3.13. So that's something we're really excited to celebrate as well. We know that in the last year, 7 students benefited from your scholarship directly, and there's more New Trier Township students that receive scholarships that are funded by other donors or other funding areas. So the scope of New Trier folks that we serve is broader than might be represented by your scholarship alone. I know that my executive director, Catherine Sawyer, hoped to be here today. She was not able to. They have a finance committee meeting. They're having a very similar conversation to one you just had. So here I am. But I know we had presented some documents for your consideration around funding, endowment, investment policies. And so I just wanted to join to see if there were questions about that or if there was more information I could provide.
Comments or questions?
Elliot, did you want?
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna mention one thing. Very proud of what, of the relationship that we have with, Oakton. And, very proud of our, 7 recipients. I felt that a little more clarity should be provided to the actual, endowed fund agreement. And I was thinking specifically on page 2, this is under, capital D, number 2. The money from this fund is intended to be used for scholarships and awarded based on the criteria on file with the foundation. Just for safety and for peace of mind, I thought that should be changed to scholarships for New Trier Township residing students, or for students residing in New Trier Township. Just so it's absolutely clear that we want those funds to be used exclusively for students that come from the township.
We can amend that. The reason we typically point to the criteria worksheet is that's something that can be updated pretty easily. Normally, the new Trier resident piece wouldn't be updated, perhaps you'd want to change the GPA requirement, or you'd want to change that, you know, there are other demographics you want to add. And so we will make that amendment, because I can't imagine that point ever changing with your scholarship.
Exactly, much appreciated.
Yes,
Do we want the scholarship to only go to mature residents?
Yes,
I think
Yeah.
that's a requirement of
That's
our
the-
mission, yes,
that's the point, yeah.
yes.
And
Have
we do
s-
have scholarships from other townships as well. I think every township in our district at this point has a scholarship fund with Oakton, and so it's a similar model.
Wonderful. Any other questions? Being none, much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. We will send that document out. Thank you.
Any additional public comment from the world? Seeing none. All right. My computer turned off. Okay, we're going to discuss our GA fund policy. You received a copy of a draft resolution for your consideration. Much of it is kind of background information about the fund that is the township code and the joy that is Public Act 103, 192 that we had the honor of passing last year. Essentially, we're following Niles Township's draft policy, which just allows us to use the GA fund to help anyone who would otherwise be eligible for general emergency or other assistance under the Illinois Public Aid Code. So this would allow us to use GA funds for not just the food pantry, but our childcare scholarships, transportation subsidies for those who are low income, because right now we do low income as well. We do seniors, low income and disability, and others with financial need. Any discussion?
Once again, I think it's definitely a good idea to be able to expand to the extent legally allowable the scope of the GA funds, because we've tended to have, you know, large surpluses there with consternation over how to spend it down. So I think it's a step in the right direction.
I'm excited to not be skirting that limit, because it makes me nervous. So, all right, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
I'm gonna ask for this to be a roll call.
Supervisor Eisenberg,
Yes.
trustee Cassell McNally,
Yes.
trustee Rubin,
Yes.
trustee Robbins,
Yes,
trustee Moser.
Yeah.
And hereby signing, so you can attest.
And send one around.
You don't actually have to sign that.
Okay.
Yep. I'll give that to you directly before I lose it. Thank you. All right, we're now in line for our public hearing. Is there a motion to adjourn to the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Wait, you're ahead.
And your own body.
Oh, I'm sorry, Angel Fund bylaws. All right, do you withdraw your motion?
I withdraw my motion.
Thank you. All right, Angel Fund bylaw revision. So these revisions are meant to fix a couple errors I didn't quite find before. But most importantly was in trying to give the power to the Angel Fund Board of Directors, we forgot to change the power to amend to the Angel Fund Board of Directors. So that will simply allow us to no longer have to come back here to make these little changes as we process and prove. So that's the number one change in the third bylaw, in the third amended restated bylaw.
I went in and changed these myself based on this.
Yeah,
That
that's what I was
in the
gonna
minutes.
ask, yeah.
If it's not correct, let me know, because this actual thing was not in that Microsoft list, so I went in and made the changes based on this.
Thank you.
But I was confused because you gave us a document that was signed by everybody and dated. But then you made changes after the execution of the document incorporated, am I correct?
Is this the version that I had uploaded?
Yes, this was a revision of the second one that they wanted to be the third amended one. So
Okay.
then they have to sign it
Yes.
in.
Right, we need a clean one to have to sign.
That's.
Yes, right, because I was literally changing it in a PDF.
I understand, but that was confusing.
Exactly, that is confusing. Okay. So is there any discussion on the amendments? The amendments to allow amendments by by the board of the Angel Fund? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve that edit to the bylaws?
I'll move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, you'll get a clean version for signature, if not today, in the near future. But it is approved as of May 14th.
Thank you.
Yep. Then we'll upload the clean version. Fabulous. Now, is there a motion to adjourn the public hearing?
Now I so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Wonderful. Welcome to our public hearing on the budget of New Trier Township for fiscal year 2025. You have before you the ordinance and profit and loss budget worksheets. The only change that we made, right, we made the change,
Yeah,
was to add a little bit more to the audit line because they want to charge us more. And now that we know how much we're actually gonna have to charge, we figured we would fix that line before it got approved.
it's that and the civic plus line, because we had to add encrypted security
Oh,
for
yes.
Gene's forms.
Oh, yes, so they had, their original proposal was confusing. Either way, we now have to pay for this year. Apparently, they will not give us things for free. But, so, any other discussion? Any public comment?
Just pick up on Rich's comment. Where are you adding additional funds for the encryption?
For, it should be under the line for website maintenance. It's on page 2, contractual services, line 5092. There was an extra about $7,500 added to that line.
So it was like 15,000, you made it.
Or so, yeah.
Okay,
Mhm,
I just want to clarify, thank you.
exactly.
And what about the auditing? What was the increase in auditing?
Audit, I think that we had it at like 17,000. I think they increased it like maybe 15 to 1,700 or so. They have to do a GASB audit. They're adding something additional that they have to do this year. It's not very much, but we just added it in.
Couple more hours of work,
And is our audit through James's company or
No.
some separate?
separate, independent.
When's the last time we shopped that around the audit?
It's been a bit, certainly been using them for my entire time here, so
Something to take a look at in the future.
something to take a look at. That's a good idea. We're set with them for this year because I want to get it done. But let's remember to do that once we're completed. Yep. All right. Seeing no additional comments, we will reconvene to the regular board meeting. Is there such a motion? So moved.
Second,
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the budget and appropriation ordinance?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a fight over second, but we're gonna get to trustee Moser. Please call the roll, Mr. Clerk.
So a vote to approve the budget. Supervisor Eisenberg,
Yes.
trustee Cassell McNally,
Yes.
trustee Rubin,
Yes.
trustee Mosier,
yes,
and trustee Robbins.
Yes,
I'd like to file this in person this year. Stefan, we can bump into each other again. Like we used to so many years in a row.
that's true,
I bumped into him many a times on LaSalle Street.
yeah.
That was always a joy, so.
I never see you guys. You at Metro. All right. That was my signature for your testing, needs. Okay, all right. Trustee Cassell McNally.
It's butterfly time, folks.
How are they doing?
You're doing so well. Except the fact that they're all dying. And so So this is, our now annual, proclamation in recognition of, this being Monarch Butterfly Month. But we love all butterflies, it's not just the monarchs. This is the first of the three, kind of, missions that we undertake. And, the primary goal behind this one is, to kind of get people in the township, to kind of think about things. There are a lot of things that, especially groups like our libraries and our garden groups are already doing, that we're gonna be joining together with them for, a bunch of stuff. But this is the first of them. And so it looks an awful lot like last year's, just with the updated last whereas clause to specifically kind of point out the things that we're going after this year. Namely being raising awareness about the decline of the monarch butterfly and the species need for habitat, which is this. Supporting the milkweed seed collection and propagation effort, and supporting a native seed or plant sale. And remember that these things can be adjusted as the year goes on. And I'm really excited.
Absolutely.
So, do you want to call for the? You know the special words.
I will call for a motion to approve. I think actually, I would love for Kate to make the motion, so.
I so move.
Yes, is there a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Discussion,
Oh, discussion, please.
just a crazy point, but you're making May the monarch butterfly month. But we're not doing it till the 15th of May, so I don't know, is that,
Well, it already is Monarch Butterfly Month. We're recognizing that it is. It already exists, right?
okay, all right,
Yeah.
it looks a little awkward.
I promise that next year I will ask that it be the following month. How about that?
Okay,
Cool.
fair enough.
All right, I'll put it on my calendar.
Sounds good. Any additional discussion?
Will the cicadas have an effect on the mountain?
Yeah, good question.
I don't know. I'll look into it. Come back next month. I'll let you know.
Which reminds me to get one of those nets. All right. Seeing no additional discussion, all those in favor of proclaiming May Monarch Butterfly Month in New Trier Township, please say aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, we passed it. And they should feel special because we know that I have a policy against proclamations other than this one, so. And there was the Grow Green Wilmets native plant sale this last weekend, and I did post about it and encourage people to go. Sadly, I didn't miss it off-road, but probably fine. I bought all the butterfly.
And the
garden
Winnetka
decor.
one will be in the fall, we're
Exactly.
all over that, so don't
Thank
worry.
you. Okay.
I'll upload that one then as the new one that she's not there.
Is there any new business? Seeing none, acknowledgement of staff reports. Is there anything anyone would like to pull from the staff reports for discussion?
In terms of Brian's report, I know that he's nervous about the pantry, especially over the summer. I was, kind of brainstorming with some options for, who else we could ask for kind of to do food, kind of pantry, pushes. And I was thinking that, we might want to reach out to kind of like camps, park districts, scouting groups, neighborhood groups. I'm thinking about putting like a box at our block party. So, kind of, I know that there are like vacation Bible schools that are always looking for kind of community service efforts, stuff like that. And so it might be a way to think outside the box to, kind of get some more of our groups other than, the schools, involved.
And I will say this report was before the post office letter carrier unions collection drive over the weekend. And it was incredibly
So cool.
successful. Both Wilmette and Glencoe have both provided us with a ton of donations.
Awesome.
My understanding is Winnetka is as well, but I haven't heard back from them yet.
Oh, theirs went to Glenview. I asked Brian today, so he's gonna call Glenview. Because I guess there's only actually one person pretty much ever working at that Winnetka post office.
Oh, well, that's
Like,
fair.
yeah, they.
And then Kenilworth does not have their own letter carriers.
Yeah.
So, but yes, so Glencoe and Wilmette were just extremely helpful. And they say that they get some throughout the week, so I already went back and got another carload, so that's at least 3 carloads from Wilmette, so. Hopefully, my understanding from Brian is we are now much healthier looking down there. Any additional comments about the staff reports?
Well, back to Brian, I'm just curious, Elliot would know. No new cases for 2 months. Do you have active cases or are you in limbo altogether?
We may have one person that's completing his sentence and a couple people in limbo who may not complete their sentence and they may be out of state. We're desperately trying, we've talked to all the police departments again. Kids are pretty well behaved, administrative proceedings are stealing a little bit of our caseload. But I think this summer, we would expect there to be an uptick, we'd expect some activity.
Okay.
Now that the kids are out of school, I would hope that we would have 4, 5, 6 new cases this summer. And we're gonna do everything we can to try to stay first and foremost in the minds of all the youth officers.
Thank you.
In Melanie's report, I just wanted to follow up on something that I had heard anecdotally during the shredding and the electronics recycling event. There were a few, like 2 that I dealt with personally, who, when they realized we were not shredding on site, wanted their things back. So they literally were under the impression that things were gonna be taken and read individually offsite, and they were very concerned about that.
Yes.
So it was obviously a very small population, but if we do things this way again, we should just be very clear in our kind of advance notices to people that that's how we're doing things.
Absolutely. One person who was one of those who was upset that it wasn't on site, then after she drove up and saw that it was a sheriff's department truck that it was getting on, she was like, oh, I could have probably just done it. So, but by then she was already too far. But yes, we do have to be clarified because some people prefer the on-site shred. And we had done it in the past, so I can see why they would have some.
Is there a limit in terms of the amount, the number of boxes?
There was, but I will say we do not police it, because we just don't have the time. It's more grab it, put it in, go. Obviously, it does impact those who come later, and it's problematic in that regard.
Did we reach capacity?
We did. Yep, I think, we had it set through noon and it was done by 11:30. Yes, so we had a few angry people. We did, repeatedly say until full, so. Absolutely. But gosh, there were some relics in that the electronics recycling.
That was amazing.
Wow, that was a ton.
It was actually fun. It was actually.
Yeah. Some classics. So very fun. Any other staff reports you want to grab?
Last in Steve's.
Mhm.
I know that on the second page, the top of the second page of his report, he talked about total link to communities expressed an interest in doing art for up here. I wonder if they might be interested in doing butterfly art.
Yes, I would love that.
Me too.
I will ask,
We'll take all your art.
yeah, I was gonna say, like, they're like, they're artists who make this kind of their thing,
Yeah.
their livelihood, so I'm not sure we can commission,
Oh,
but. We'll
I
ask.
think they will be here, June 3rd.
Okay, it's been forever.
Okay.
Yeah.
On the notarization services, is that a fee-based service?
It is not, it is another value add for our wonderful, neutral residents.
Who's the notary?
And Jerome is signed up to be a notary as well.
Mhm. Sadly, when we did our seniors in high school event, the power of attorney clinic, Steve was happened to be on vacation that day, but thankfully my father-in-law came in. He's been our backup for the last, he's done it like 4 times at this point, so. So
Yeah.
thank him for his volunteerism.
Not to add to anybody's burden, but should we make another notary? Should we get some?
Well, now we'll have both Jerome and Steve. And Len has done it in the past, it was.
Len is a notary. too.
No, Len is a notary as well, yeah, so that would be 3 is, I think, plenty, yeah. Yep. So, excitement. Any other discussions? Seeing none, We're now line for motion to adjourn. Is there such a motion?
So
Second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Next meeting date is June 11th. And trustee Moser has agreed to preside while I am in the chair.